My partner was assaulted and has completely withdrawn, and I am not sure what to do. My partner, 26F, and I, 29M, are both graduate students in a long-distance relationship. We had been dating for 3 years but took a break after she moved for graduate school. This was her idea, and it came as kind of a shock to me after I spent a month helping her move. About a month later, she called me and said she had made a huge mistake, so we had been tentatively working on things for the last month. She went to a conference over Halloween, and I noticed a lot of strange things toward the end. We usually stay in semi-frequent contact throughout our day no matter what, and she had not been as responsive. When she got back from the conference, she was more aggressive and dismissive than I had ever seen her. After a few days of this, she broke down and told me that she had been sexually assaulted at the conference and was on her way to the crisis center in her town. As soon as I found out, I booked the next flight out to spend time with her and help out. I also ordered some groceries on Instacart so she would have food to eat in the meantime. I basically just threw a few pieces of clothing into a backpack. I did not really have time to tell my supervisor and did not book a return flight. When I arrived, I spent about a week just taking care of her. She was on a lot of medications and still in shock for most of it. During this time, I made her my priority, although it was honestly very draining and traumatizing to experience myself. She recounted the entire event to me several times and shared new details as they came up. It was really busy, we had a lot of administrative work to deal with, and during our free time I tried to be fully present with her. There was one evening in particular when I was helping her with her coursework because she was not ready to report the assault to the university and did not want anything to seem unusual. She became frustrated that I was not working fast enough and took the laptop out of my hands. When she could not make faster progress either, she tried to throw it, but I took it out of her hands. She then started smacking herself in the head and told me to get out of her sight. I left the apartment for about 30 minutes, and when I got back, no one had said anything, so I just sat in the bathroom to have some privacy. When I finally came out, still a little shaken, she looked at me and said, "Clearly you are not okay. We need to go to bed. It is late." About a week and a half in, I got a message from my supervisor saying that my lab mate's dissertation talk was in a few days, that he had not seen me around, and that he hoped I would attend. I also had work travel planned a few days after that, which would have been very expensive to cancel. I spoke to my partner about this and wanted to know if she was okay being alone. She told me she was, but that it would be tough. I offered to ask my mother to stay with her for a bit and said I could come back after. She was open to it, and after checking with my mom, the plan was that my mom would stay with her for a while, and there would only be a 4-day gap when she would have to be alone. The night before I was supposed to leave, she became extremely upset with me. She told me that I had not done enough to help and that it was wrong of me to abandon her. She called me a lot of horrible names and said that my presence had made her situation worse, not better. She said she wanted me to clean more, cook more, and do her laundry. In response to these specific things, I cooked every night, and I meal prepped so she would have extra food. I cleaned, did the dishes, took care of her pets, and did many other chores. The only thing I did not get to was laundry. She blamed that on me working and said that if I could not step away from my work, I should not have come. For clarity, I did not touch any work or anything unrelated to her for a week, and after that, I only used my laptop for a few hours during downtime. Honestly, that itself felt like a compromise because my candidacy exam was scheduled 3 weeks later. She used this to say that I was choosing my work and my friends over her. She also complained that she was hungry at times and that we ate lunch late. Again, because it feels important to explain, I offered her food constantly, but she did not want to eat because her medication was making her nauseous. I did not want to force her, so I checked in until she was ready to eat. She said that a good caretaker just knows to put food in front of someone even if they say they do not want it, because they are probably hungry. The last thing she said was that she had asked me to promise I would be able to take care of her on my visit. This absolutely could have happened, but given the circumstances, I do not remember. It was around 2 a.m. The whole thing was incredibly frustrating because it felt like she saw me as a man-child who could not support her and did not care. She made it clear that she did not have space to hear anything from me, so I took some time to process my own feelings. She was even angrier the next morning and had decided she did not want my mother to visit. By then, it was too late because my mom was about to board her flight. She reiterated everything she had said the night before and expressed feelings of abandonment and stress about how much she needed to catch up on. I said that she had time extensions from Title IX and did not need to worry, and that I would help when I got back. When I said this, she took the knife she was using to cut a banana, raised it in her fist, and that was the only moment I ever raised my voice at her. I told her to put the knife down. After that, I called myself an Uber and told her she did not need to drive me to the airport. My mom arrived the next day and stayed for 4 days. Afterward, my partner claimed that my mom was not helpful, did not cook, and did not clean. My mom said that she asked to help constantly but was repeatedly told no. My partner said my mom could not possibly help because she had never used her kitchen or cleaned her space, so there was no point in accepting help. She would call me in the evenings and tell me that the visit was a mistake and that my mom was not a suitable replacement for me. This was despite the entire purpose of the trip being that my mom would help in any way needed. On the day my mom was supposed to leave, my partner called me around 10 p.m. saying she had been unable to sleep all night and was too tired to drive my mom to the airport. She said she was so exhausted that she was considering checking into an inpatient facility. She wanted to know what to tell my mother, and I said I thought she should tell her right away. She wanted to wait until they went to breakfast, but I disagreed because the flight was at 1 p.m. and the airport was at least an hour away. I called my mom to explain because I did not want her to miss her flight. When my partner found out I told her, she said it proved I chose my family over her. We did not talk for about 24 hours. Then I called to check in. She told me that anything I could do was too late and yelled at me over the phone for about 30 minutes. She told me several private things about my mom, things my mom had shared with her in confidence during the visit. I ended the call by saying that I would not contact her if it was not helpful, but she could call me anytime. I had very limited contact with her over the next few weeks until recently. She called and said she wanted an explanation from me. She said her therapist told her not to make any big decisions right now, but she still wanted to end things. The call lasted almost 2 hours, but I did not have much to say, mostly because she did not seem willing to hear anything. She reminded me of everything she had done for me and asked why I could not support her in the same way. What she was referring to were 2 times when I had deadlines and she cooked more often than usual instead of splitting the load. It was clear this was not coming from a productive place. She wanted to justify her decision, but she was not able to see my perspective. She pushed me to talk, and I told her the situation had been incredibly intense. I said I wanted to be impenetrable, but I am human, and it was difficult. She said it was embarrassing that I cried about the assault in front of her before she ever had. She told me how, when her friend had surgery, she washed all of his clothes and prepared weeks of food for him, and asked why I could not do that. As she kept pushing, I mentioned how intense the moment with the knife had been. She first said it did not happen, then admitted it happened but insisted she was far away from me, so I had nothing to fear, and eventually said it was my fault for distressing her. By that point, she had listed every mistake I'd made throughout our relationship and used all of it as her reason to end the conversation. I have had very limited contact with her since. Where do we go from here, and how do I support her while also taking care of myself? I have a lot of guilt, and part of me thinks I could have done more, but part of me knows I put in as much effort as I possibly could. I want to be clear, this is not a case of weaponized incompetence. I worked very hard with nearly all my available time while I was with her and even afterward. It was physically and emotionally exhausting. I also do not have patience for people writing her off. What she has gone through is horrific, and while it does not excuse her behavior, it does explain it. But I am stuck, because I think the right thing is to take some distance, yet I do not think I can reconnect without acknowledgement that what she did was not okay.